slept pretty good last night. I didn't sleep very many hours, but when I did get to sleep, I slept pretty good. I just slept at a Walmart over in Anaheim, which was the same one Catalina and I slept at before. And now I just left LA after loading up a video for you guys. I just left LA and I'm heading down to San Diego to meet another subscriber named Brian, who's a van dweller. So it should be pretty cool. I'll talk to you guys a little more when I get down there, and on my way, if I see some good scenery, I'll make sure I get some of it for you guys. I'll let you know. I'm in Oceanside, California, and it's a really, really neat place. I have been here before ages ago, and it's one of my favorite places in America that I've actually been so far is Oceanside. It's got some really gorgeous beaches and whatnot, and there's some pretty good scuba diving right off the shoreline. So I wish I had a little more time before I needed to be heading back, because I would love to spend a week here or so. So right there's the San Diego Mormon temple. They're the only buildings that the Mormons have that are ornate, and they're usually really over the top with architecture. Got over here into San Diego and about ready to meet Brian here. His van over here set up. What's going on, man? Got the little cargo van, Dodge, right? Yeah. Got your solar panel up there.
Been in this thing about a year now.
How do you like it?
I love it, man. I love it.
I'm actually really, like, at first I was like, I wish I had something bigger, you know, but like over time I'm like, why?
Yeah. I had a little RV before this, and I tried it out for about 2 weeks, and I decided it was too big. I said, you know what, I don't need this.
It's hard to park and all kinds of stuff, right?
Hard to sleep in places, had cops knock on it when we first 2 nights out, knocks on the door. You know, probably could have gotten used to it and figured it out, but this just seemed, I met a guy in a van, I said, you know what, that is the way to go.
Yeah, like I mean I look a little bit more obvious with the shades and stuff than you do. I mean, this is a good setup.
These are still so common though.
Yeah.
You know, that it's like when I see them, I think family, soccer mom. You know, so it's not.
Yeah. I think they wonder a little bit more because when I was in Santa Monica, they pulled me over.
Okay.
just pulled me over. I was trying to make
yeah.
a flip a U-turn, and the cop's like, "So do you live in your van?"
Right. Yeah. I've heard up in the Bay Area that they obviously have had a problem. You know, whatever residents complain. They've actually had issues here before. If you see,
Yeah, the signs.
sign, no sleeping or camping in any vehicle.
Yeah.
There's some of them that say habitation in vehicle is prohibited at any time. But basically, that all started in San Diego with RVs. Because what would happen is people were living like basically, months at a time in these parking lots, this actual one right here. And then when the cops would run them off and say, hey, you can't do this, they would just go up into the neighborhoods here. And these are all pretty, look at these houses.
Yeah.
These are the type of people that don't want RVs parked in front of their houses.
Yeah, these are $1.5 million plus type places.
I've actually found, my brother lives a little past this area in Claremont. They have a nice little 2-bedroom house that they get a pretty decent rate on. So I will every now and then go park in front of their house, but I've found some streets just on the other side of the freeway.
Okay.
Where it's just, there's no real houses, it's just kind of little side roads.
I already saw a spot over here just up the road, like some side roads. There's like 8 vans sitting there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at least 1 or 2 of them, there's somebody in there, Cool.
In the summertime, they don't really patrol this.
Okay.
And it's like free, I stayed for like a month straight. And then right around September, October, you basically the only way to find out when they start patrolling, I got a ticket. And I talked to a few people that I know are doing the same thing, and they're like, yeah, that's our little free window in the summer. The cops are just busy doing important stuff. So
Is that what it is, or
yeah.
or I was wondering if that was it, or if maybe it starts being too many people in the winter because they show up from everywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
Because it's warmer here year round, ain't it? Pretty
and
decent.
It's probably harder to differentiate in the summertime, like who's kind of camping and who's just on vacation.
Because there's too many people on vacation.
Yeah. But this is kind of my turf. Like this lot, a couple lots down. I kind of just rotate after I get off of work. I shower up at my gym in East County.
Which gym do you use?
I use Choose, which is kind of specific to Arizona and Southern California.
Oh, okay.
They're super cheap. It's like $10 a month, no initial fees.
That sounds like Planet Fitness, right? There's nothing real real fancy, but you got good showers, gym equipment.
Actually, in the summertime, these bathrooms have showers inside.
Oh, okay.
And it's hot enough that I can shower there, but in the winter, I haven't taken a shower here in a month.
Yeah.
It's, for me, this is my whole deal while I'm doing this is I got into my IRS debt. And I went through all this stuff in my head of what I could do, get another job. And I said, you know what? Why not cut rent out of the equation?
Yeah.
And just,
it's huge, especially if you were living here.
Yeah, I can, my folks are from here. My dad's actually from back east, the state of Maine, but he's been out here since before I was born. And, they love it, and they're just, they came at a time when it was much cheaper. And I try to explain to them why I'm doing this, and they just don't.
They think you're nuts, huh?
I'm like, guys, you got to realize how expensive for a single guy, unless you're married or have a partner that you can share expenses. It's all virtually impossible.
Yeah.
Look at where I am.
Well, isn't it hard to find a place for less than a couple thousand?
My average rent I started out when renting, 20 years ago at the age of 18. I paid $600 for my first apartment. 2 bedrooms, split it with a friend.
That's
the last place I rented, it was $1,500.
Yeah.
So that's how much it's gone up in 20 years.
Yeah.
But, I have friends that live at the beach areas I work with, and $2,000, no problem for an apartment.
Yeah.
1 bedroom.
1 bedroom, fairly basic, right? Yeah.
That's just to be, here by the water. Yeah, I feel fortunate. We have the climate where I can get away with this and not freeze
and not have to worry about carbon monoxide from your propane heater.
Yeah.
People ask me, so what are you going to do about wintertime? I'm like, go south.
I went through a deal too with a business partner.
Okay.
I was doing some landscaping, and
I was general contracting, so that's funny.
Kind of took over his stepson's business because he had gotten an accident and was basically physically disabled after the accident. So it was kind of a friend of a friend, and long story short, I did it for much longer than I intended. he just didn't give me the business guidance I needed. I went in telling him, like, I have no business experience I'm going to need, and just didn't understand how much I was going to be taxed. And when I wanted to get out of it, I had some investments, a truck, and when I wanted to sell those, you have to pay, they count that as like income.
Right.
I got a tax write-off when I purchased it. So, you know, I ended up in all this debt and kind of had a little bit of a, you know, sore feeling with the guy. I've since kind of, you know, gotten over it. Had a little bit of money that I set aside for emergency and bought a little SUV. Kind of got a little taste for camping and that, and then came upon a video. I came upon Chad's Living the Van Life.
Living the van life.
And then, yeah, and it just kind of spiraled, you know. And then the real influence on me was Bob Wells' blog site, his webpage. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I haven't.
Got to check it out. It's cheaprvliving.com.
Okay, I've run across it, but I haven't really read his blog or anything.
His blog's great. There's a ton of information. I basically got all the info on, you know, he's got documentations of other people's builds. They have, like, posted pictures of how they went about it. So I struggle with, like, people judging me. You know, I care a little too much about what people think about me.
Still.
And, you know, you just have to kind of take an attitude of, you know, this is awesome. Like, I kind of, you know, and it's, for me, that stigma comes from people that I've seen probably, so it's my own personal projection. Like, I see people that are not as well off, you know, they've got junk everywhere, and they obviously look unhappy living in their vehicle.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard somebody
those
say,
people are homeless, though.
Yeah, and I've heard someone say, like, people that live in their vehicle and don't want to be there, they're homeless.
Yeah.
People that live in their vehicle and want to be there, they have a home.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's two different classes of people.
I completely agree.
I think I struggle with, like, friends and family, like, seeing those kind of people and then thinking of me and maybe associating them.
Negative.
So that's all in my head probably, but that's really the only thing that, like, I still have doubts about.
I think that, like, one thing I do, I personally, I don't know if you take it this way too, but I feel like there's a lot more stigma against doing this than there was, say, in, like, the 80s,
Yeah.
you know, 70s and 80s and 60s,
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know where that comes from. I talk to people, and I think some of it is people that are really conscious of the economy, and they think everybody needs to contribute as much as they can. And, you know, I'm not trying to buck the system in any way. I'm just trying to be successful and happy.
Right.
Like, this is not like a protest, really. It's more of a standing up for myself and saying, you know, I'm going to make my own choice on how I want to live.
See, that's interesting you say that, because I run into a lot of van dwellers, and they're always, like, dissing other people that have a mortgage and stuff. And if that's the way they want to live, I think that's just fine.
That's what
you know?
freedom is.
Yeah, and my take on it is the reason why I'm doing it is so I can afford to travel, just like you're trying to pull out of a hole that you felt like you were in. So, yeah.
And ultimately, that is my goal. I'm very close. I think I have like 7 more months, and I'll be debt free, and I'm ready to rock. I'm set up. I'm comfortable. I kind of, like, the plan was in my head, like, well, I'll stay in my town and I'll kind of get a feel for it. If I do hate it, I haven't made some extreme commitment. I have a vehicle. I mean, it's great for fun adventures and camping if I decide not to do it full time. But it was only a few weeks before I realized this is going to lead to great things. And the whole YouTube thing and the blog sites, like, it's just that sense of community.
Oh, I was shocked how big it is and how tight it is.
And I really feel like, you know, my intention on reaching out to you was to break my habit of kind of being a hermit.
Yeah.
And, you know, your message really carried with me. Like,
oh, good.
Get out there and connect with people, guys. Like,
I think it's important. Like,
you know,
I don't want us hiding. And sometimes I do find myself, like, if I'm somewhere where I don't really know anybody, I don't, you know, because I've had a few moments, like when I was in Santa Rosa, where I kind of felt a little lonely, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I felt a little reclusive, and I found myself hiding because you're not supposed to do it there, and I didn't know anybody, you know, so I mean, nobody got a hold of me or anything. I didn't, you know, so I understand where you're at there. I think it's cool. Like, I didn't realize the number of people that are doing it. Like, I would say
either doing it or actually, like, seriously, that's what they
considering
want to do.
it. Yeah.
They're dreaming about it. To me, that's the great thing. It's kind of like this, whatever it is, you know. And I was really inspired by your videos and Caleb S's the most.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other guys that have higher quality videos. I love Nomadic
Yeah.
Fanatic and Chris Travels, Chad Living the Van Life, Living Free. A lot of my favorites. Dan Travels is great.
Yeah, Dan's cool.
And what I liked about yours and Caleb's was the personalness. And like with Caleb, you know, he's got a story. I mean, dude was living on the streets.
Oh, yeah.
And the progress
Big
he
time.
has made is
Huge.
amazing. It's
Like
dude,
huge.
and
Huge.
without utilizing this concept.
And I met the guy,
You
so
know?
you're gonna see videos with him, Caleb, and I, and like I didn't realize the level of progress Caleb have had.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
To me, that really, I left him a few comments, and it was just like, you know how he is, like, well, where's the videos, bro? Like, where's the videos? And you know, when I first started this, that was my intention. You know, I was like, I'm gonna do this, and then I got really. I mean, I'm still figuring out how to do it. This was a big step. Like, people are gonna see my face, they're gonna see my van, and it's like I'm gonna do kind of like Caleb, where every now and then you see his face, but for the most part, you know,
He's still pretty shy. I got him a
Yeah.
lot. Wait until you see the one. I got him
But,
full on.
You know, I think his reasoning behind that is good, because if you are in a static spot,
Yeah.
there are some crazy people out there.
Sure.
I mean, you know,
CSI is what he calls
and
it.
You don't want people coming, so I'm still trying to formulate how I'm going to do it, but I would say within the next 2 weeks I should have my first video up.
Awesome.
This will be definitely a big inspiration to do it.
Cool.
But you know, I think my kind of message is going to be, because for me, this is giving me time to really formulate like my dreams. Like, someone asked me, like, well, if you could just do anything and be anywhere and live any kind of life, what would it be? And like, that's a big question. I didn't know the answer. But being in places like this without the stress of rent and just being close to nature all the time, I found myself able to formulate ideas that I don't think I would have been able to otherwise. You know, in that house, in front of the TV, on the couch, it just never happened.
I had a really good time hanging out with Brian here in San Diego. We went over to a little neighborhood bar and grill and had a bite to eat and drank a couple of beers and just chatted about all kinds of things, you know, van dwelling stuff, just personal life stuff, you know, things like that. And it was pretty cool. It was a real good time. We're probably gonna go, he's probably gonna show me a couple of cool things here in San Diego before I split out of town, so I'm pretty happy about that. Right now I'm gonna try to edit some video for you guys and then go sneak over to a Starbucks and load them up for y'all. I'll probably be here in San Diego maybe 2 days before I head over to the slabs. And loaded up a video, and now I just came over to the 24-hour fitness just down the road, and I'm going to crash here. Found a little spot. I think it should be good. Nobody's gonna have a direct look right into the window here, and I'm gonna try to get some sleep, and then when I wake up I'll be right here for a shower. So get out there, guys, connect, live a big story, make sure you're doing something every day to help reduce world suck. Peace.